Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our Zoho CRM user session. 36 now, who's counting? We've started this for a while. Gravity is an outsourced marketing firm that works with a lot of different systems for marketing automation, sales, CRMs. Zoho kept winning, so we decided just to open up these free sessions for everyone, sharing kind of best practices and ideas of how to use it. So today, myself and Kayla will be sharing the time with you guys. Feel free to open up, you're allowed to speak or ask a question, or also use the bar on the left with the Q&A. And let's jump right in. So today we want to share some ideas of how to increase your sales productivity with task automation. So what are we going to talk about really is how to use task automation on your day-to-day as a salesperson or the roles in the CRM that you can have, how to simplify, also use task automation to simplify onboarding tasks, so really useful when you have someone new joining a team, and how to automate key processes throughout your team. So not only more for the sales, pre-sales side of things, but also when customers close a deal, how to move things along. So a few ideas, but please feel free to ask any questions you have. So we're going to show a bit of an overview of different options for task automation, and then we'll jump right into a demo account so you can see Zoho live. So just a few ideas of how you can automate your tasks to really increase your productivity. These are just a few thoughts. So first one, let's think of just a very frequent thing that happens, right? You have your website, you have, hopefully, I hope, forms on the website for people to contact you. And we can advise you to have two things set up that work really well for our clients. One of them is just having an email notification right away, for example, for your pre-sales team or someone who's going to check if that lead is real and worth pursuing. And then how to use tasks. So I'm going to pass it to Kayla so she can demonstrate how you could set this up to have those alerts coming straight to your inbox. All right, back to you, Kayla.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Let me share my screen. Under automations, we're going to click on workflow rules. And the steps to create a workflow rule are adding the basic details, specifying the rule triggers, indicating the workflow conditions, and setting up the actions. So to get started, we're going to click the blue Create Rule button. And under Module, we're going to select Leads, since we're dealing with leads in this scenario. And then we're going to name the rule, which will be New Quote Request. I'm just going to add test at the end of it for this webinar's purposes. And then add the description, which will say sends an email to the prospect and create a task to research the lead. And this is just good to include, so it helps others know the intention behind the rule being created. So then we're going to hit next. And then this is where the magic happens. Under the When section, we want to click on a record action and create, because we want to reach out to leads as they're being created. And then we're going to hit next. And then in the conditions section, this tells the CRM what we want it to look for when creating the rule. In this case, we only want the leads matching these certain conditions, not all the leads in the CRM. So that's where we want to select the lead source. Lead source is, and then we want click to clients and hit next. Next, we're going to create an instant action because we want the trigger to happen immediately when a new lead comes in. So we're going to click on instant actions in this case, not scheduled actions. We're going to create a task. And then for the purposes of this webinar, we created the new lead research. So I'm just going to click that and then associate. So now this whole thing is triggered when a new lead comes in that will get a click message to indicate that we need to research the prospect that came in prior to emailing them. And then we're just going to click save. And then you can see that it was created right at the bottom here. All right, back to you, Anna.
Cool. Thank you, Kayla. This is very clear, which is really good and step by step. So now imagine doing this and using the same logic, right, of things you want to trigger in certain occasions to all sorts of business needs you could have, right? Whether it's a daily task you do, weekly, monthly. So another example is using, for example, let's say you also have a quote request on your website that goes a bit deeper as a form, asks more things to your prospects. Here you might want to set a different type of notification and create a new task that's a follow-up with the lead. So the task is very flexible, as you could see. When we're looking at tasks, really a task can be has these fields of a subject, right? A due date, what is it connected to, an account and a contact. It can have a reminder. And then the description is really a rich section where you could add your instructions of what to do. So we use this, for example, in some of our clients use it as an onboarding tool because you can totally say, on a task, set up this. So research, website, check LinkedIn profile. So imagine assigning this to someone new who came in, or even just a seasoned professional, but you want to make sure that they go through a set of things when they're researching a lead or when they're following up with an RFQ. So this is how you would use it. So this is to show you an example of the tasks. There's other things. So kind of coming back to this section of the automation, because this is really when a task becomes automated instead of just creating it manually. Very important always to connect it with the right module. So now if we're talking about automating tasks that are related, for example, to customers or accounts or things that's happened when you have a potential closing, for example, let's say you want to keep there's always something you have to do when you win a potential, right? One of them is update your account type. So making sure that new closed potentials, you become customers, right? Which is very intuitive, but there's so many people who just forget to do that. So that's when you can use something to say, okay, let's say when a potential, create this every time. And in this case, in this example, a bit different from the example Kayla shared, it makes sense to any time a potential is updated to closed one. So you've won that potential at that deal. You want to make sure, let's put it here, right? So I'm saying that when the stage is one signed, I want to make sure, for example, that the field is updated. So this is another way to automate what is usually a sales task, but through a field updates section. So you could always think of all of these that you can use as things to automate daily tasks and just paperwork things you would have to do usually. And a lot of people forget. And you could have wins in terms of your efficiency. You could have wins in terms of things you simply would forget, and you want to have a way to improve the quality of the database of your CRM, really, and making sure that everything is updated when you're emailing clients. So this way, for example, I would create a field update, and I would create one from scratch. And I'm going to say closed one becomes customer. Okay. The module is going to be the account, and we're going to update the account type to become a customer, right? I save and associate. So this means that when a potential Any time that the process is created or edited to one signed active, this field is updated. But now see the potential of this. So, okay, you've updated the account, becomes a customer. What else should happen? Should we also create a task, for example, to say, let's have our operations team who is also has access to the CRM, or let's have our post-sales engagement team, right? Onboarding the client. Let's do the client onboarding tasks. So let's say the day after, or let's say one business day, status will be not started. Priorities, I don't know if it's high, if it's normal, probably normal priority for this one. Who would you assign it to? So let's say I'm going to assign this one to Kayla. I want Kayla to be notified. And what do I really want to do? Is Kayla to run through our onboarding checklist, confirm billing details, for example, because there has to be billing going out soon, so I want to make sure I have address and correct email. And anything else you want to consider as things for the person who's going to follow up with that task to do. So when you save an associate, several things are going to start happening as soon as sales closes a deal or an opportunity. And these are all ways to have everyone kind of see what they need to do afterwards, and certain things actually being done for you, like a field update is an example of things. It's not assigning a task, but it's something that you just can save time with. So let me go back to other things that you could do. Another good example, for example, is if you have leads hanging out there for 3 days or more, and let's say you want to be alerted when that happens, you can create a task that alerts the sales manager. So you can use these different functions in your team, or even just yourself, to say even a salesperson can have I want to get a just notification if I'm have a lead that's hanging there for longer than what I want or what I set up, or a deal that's there for more than 1 month probably is going to go stalled, so it's not going to progress, or I just want to resend an email. So all the things you have on that automation section could be things you could use to really increase the efficiency of yourself or your sales team, and making sure that everyone is kind of on the same page. So these are a few of our ideas that we've kind of learned through the past. So the other thing is to make this real for your team. We always suggest tying this activity with results. So if it's not in Zoho, it didn't happen, right? If that task is not there, it didn't happen. If you want to track sales activity. So ideally, bring the CRM to your daily, weekly, monthly meetings where you can see, okay, this is all that we have in terms of this is what I'm working on, and these are the sort of things I'm doing for this account. This is what I'm doing to move this prospect forward, and try to reward based on those metrics, because those are usually ways to implement any change you want to bring. So if I'm kind of checking the Q&A, I don't know if we have any questions. Just go ahead and let us know if you do. Otherwise, feel free to visit our website and the blog section. We always add the recordings of these sessions there, so there's a lot of topics already covered. But also just email us, reach out to us if you have something specific you need help with your Zoho CRM or other Zoho apps we're familiar with.
Yes,
Otherwise,
and I'll also plan on sending this recording out via email to attendees as well, and to those who couldn't make it today. So make sure to look for that as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Kayla, for sharing these ideas and examples, and looking forward to seeing you all soon.
Bye. Have a good one.